Welcome to this News Mobile special chat on the coronavirus. Just a day earlier, the World Health Organization (WHO) released a brief giving the guidelines on the fresh guidelines on the coronavirus, where they have admitted that there are some instances of coronavirus spreading through the airborne route. Though it is not being conclusively established, more studies need to be done. But in indoor areas which are crowded, like gyms or like some factories, there could be a chance that coronavirus spreads through the airborne route. I have with me Dr. Bharat Gopal, a leading pulmonologist in Delhi, who will now tell us how great is this risk of airborne transmission and what can we do to protect ourselves. First, Bharat, thank you so much for joining us. First question, do you
Thank you.
believe that this is a big risk, the coronavirus spreading through the airborne route?
Yeah, so Anisha, the last 6 months of this COVID pandemic has actually taught us one thing, that whatever is right today may be different tomorrow. So there have been statements by various world bodies, and then there have been retractions, and there have been new statements, and that's how it goes. So it's a very, very fluid and dynamic issue which we are speaking. So we started way back with the belief that maybe the person who has symptoms should have masks. We went to something like compulsory masking. Similarly, I think one thing is for sure, that obviously the major route of transmission is droplets. So what your audience needs to understand is there is a very fine difference between the droplets and the airborne the infection. The difference is that you have larger particles, which would probably, while we are talking, while we are sneezing, we're coughing, if we are not masked, those particles will tend to fall down because of the weight, which are slightly between 5 to 10 micrometers. So just to get into perspective, a human hair is like 50 microns. So what we are talking now is 5 to will fall down. So we anticipate that they fall down between 1 meter. So that will be probably if you are having a safe distance. So that was the whole thing which was based on the social distancing, lockdowns and everything. Now
But Bharat,
we go into the fact of airborne, where you have smaller particles hanging in the air. So there's a person who comes, he's not without mask, he stays there alone, and he coughs and he goes away from that, becomes a very, very difficult issue, very difficult public health issue. So that is how the things are changing. We always believed, it was always proven that these airborne infections can be there in hospitals where we do procedures, where we suck out phlegm or we ask patient to cough, and those. So obviously we had all our healthcare workers in proper PPEs, but it's not that thing is possible in public health. So I think that's the whole crux which we have to now understand with this letter which was written to WHO, and WHO now agreeing to this fact that maybe there is an airborne transmission.
all right, so you're saying hospital scenarios remain quite risky, but for common people, if I wear a cloth mask, am I going to be safe from the airborne transmission?
Not exactly. So if we believe that it's going to be an airborne transmission, then we have to take all the precautions like we tell for our healthcare workers. Then a simple cloth mask actually will not do the job. If we are believing that airborne transmission is one of the major ways it's going to spread, I just hope that that's not, and it doesn't look like, because then even the numbers would have been much, much higher than the way there are today in the world. So I think then a simple cloth mask will not take care, because then you would have to have almost a similar type of precautions, like using an N95 and using a proper goggles, so that these virus particles do not find a portal of entry into someone else. But although we are looking at this aspect of possible airborne transmission, I think WHO itself is very, very categorical that they are not sure. They are looking into this. This was a paper which was published by 239 scientists, and once they published it and once they wrote to the WHO, they know that obviously this can be there. This is again written. Majority of the people in that article are engineers, so it's more of a modeling paper. And just to get you to the scheme of things, there were studies where even in hospitals, they collected room air samples and of where patients of samples could not grow on culture viral particles. So it's not very clear that airborne is one of the major modes
Ways of
of transmission.
transmission. Okay,
Yeah. So I
but the
think
main
we
concern
have to
was,
be careful now.
yeah, so the main concern was, Bharat, about, indoors, crowded. That is where, they stay in the airborne particles stay in the air, and if you come in the way, you could inhale them. So if I am indoors, should I keep a mask on? Will I be safe using a cloth mask?
Yeah. So as of now, again, I would reiterate that masking, I think for some months or maybe for a year is going to be the new norm. It's very unfortunate, but that's where we are going to actually land up with. Compulsory masking will be the way forward if we are in any in a closed environment with less number of air exchanges. I think the hospitals are a safer area as of now because we have done, which may not be there in the malls, which may not be there in the closed environments where we go. And in those cases, probably if the airborne transmission is even, say, a minuscule part of the transmission, I think the people are at risk. So masking is going to be there. If possible, probably we can use a 3-ply mask. I think I can, looking at what the data is now coming, probably that would be an ideal thing, not the N95s, because as of now, even today, the N95 should be left over for the healthcare workers because of the shortage. If there is a scenario where N95 were in plenty and there was no shortage and there was no issues, then probably I don't mind even people wearing N95. But as of now, I would, through your channel, I would like to tell the public that please leave the N95s for the healthcare, because there it's a proven thing that 100% we as healthcare professionals need them in the hospital.
All
So the
right.
3-ply masks as of now are well available. So if nothing, then obviously a simple cloth mask will do something. You have to understand that if everyone wears
Right. Bharat, if I go out for a jog or a walk in a park, should I wear a mask?
I can't. I think the voice is breaking up slightly. But I couldn't hear your question. Please, can you repeat it?
The question is, Bharat, if I'm going outdoors, in an
Yeah.
open area for a walk or a jog, should I keep the mask on to keep the airborne particles, virus particles away from me?
I think that's what I said. This would be a new norm. Whenever we are going out of our house, and also in-house, indoors, if we have elderlies with us, if we have in our own house, we have people who are at high risk, who are having comorbidities, who are elderlies. I think it will become a norm, and even if we are interacting with our parents who are elderly, then we'll have to wear masks because we may be actually just asymptomatic carriers. So even if we go outdoors, even if we are going for a walk, it won't be a bad idea because you never know whom you come across while jogging, while walking. And on top of it, this new thing about airborne, because as far as well ventilated outdoors are concerned, the risk of airborne transmission is going to be very low. I think from that angle, obviously mask won't be required, but I still feel that we will have to make a habit of it.
What about hand washing? Does it remain as important?
Absolutely. The those basic hygiene issues which we started in January, they will have to remain with us, which will include your frequent hand washing, your cough etiquettes. If you are trying to cough or sneeze, you have to cover. If you're coughing, you have to put an elbow. I think those things will not go away. So those were the basic things. From there, we have graduated now to almost like a scene of compulsory masking. And I think especially in a city like Delhi, where you have or Bombay, where you have lots and lots of patients, I think it will be a new norm for times to come.
Bharat, what do I do if I work in a high-rise office? Offices are open at lower capacity where I can't open the windows. Then how do I protect myself?
So I think again coming back to the same thing, your basic masking and those things will go. But I think now there are documents released by even ICMR where they
Mm.
have given how the air conditioning of the building has to be set, at what temperatures, how many
Mm.
air exchanges. And I think a lot of engineering companies, these are not very, very difficult things to do, especially in corporates and hospital in
Mm.
offices where there are going to be people. So ultimately, it's not going to be that it's going to work with 33% or 50% capacity. Finally, people will have to go. So the way hospitals actually use that lockdown period to gear up for the
Mm.
patients, I
Mm.
think this is the time when the offices, the buildings, the malls, they have to actually now look at those guidelines which have been given by the ICMR and by the various engineering societies, and actually build up the way they want the air exchanges to occur, so that once the people come back, there are no outbreaks in offices. I think this is what has happened, and this whole idea about airborne has actually, you will be surprised, have come from the meat workers. That there were a lot of outbreaks abroad in US in meat factories where you had these, because it was air conditioned, they required very low temperatures, and they had a lot of people working there, and they had this one person infected, and there were outbreaks. So from there, this idea came that probably it is because of the airborne nature of this
Mm.
virus, which especially actually propagates well in lower temperatures.
Mm.
Obviously, those that was the main issue where they actually looked into this aspect of. So I think
Bharat,
once we
yes.
look at those and hear those aspects, I think it should be safe.
Bharat, if I am going to a departmental store, the store insists that only 4 or 5 people stay inside. But what if one of them is infected and has let the airborne particles inside? Uh, will it be risky for me to go in? How do I do my regular shopping?
Anisha, we are actually confusing the same thing. See, if this will all occur if that person was totally unmasked, and
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that as of now, none of those malls and everything, because of the rules which are there. Now, if I think it's a social responsibility of the person. Like if I have a problem, I go to a mall and then I deliberately, just because I'm feeling very suffocated with the mask, I roam around because there are 5 people at different corners and I feel there is nobody around me, and I start coughing or start clearing my throat without the mask. I think that is more of a social issue than anything, because if I again reiterate, if everybody is wearing a mask, I think the chances of even those particles coming out will actually decrease. And then on top of it, the reduced risk because of the fact that we don't know how much particles actually stay. So if we
Right.
actually do masking, we have proper building infrastructure with air conditioning at a particular set level, the number of air exchanges, the filters which are changed the way they are advised by the government. I think the chances of getting infected in these malls and departmental stores will actually go down, and
Okay.
gradually we would understand and accept this new normal.
One last question, Bharat. Can UV lighting indoors help kill the virus? Could this be another option?
Hello.
Yes, Bharat,
Yeah, I could get you.
the
Yeah.
last question is, could UV lights be installed in offices, in malls, at homes to destroy the virus? Could that be an
Right.
alternative to stop this indoor spread of
I think
airborne
that there are a lot of
virus?
yeah. So there are data available which show that UV light actually helps in probably getting rid of these viruses. How long, how much exposure time is required actually is a very, very difficult thing, and as of now still very tough. You have those small boxes available where we
Mm.
know, okay, this is the contact time and this is the amount of, but beyond that it becomes slightly difficult. There are proponents of this that okay, you can put UV lights in the house and everything. Unfortunately, it hasn't been proven, because otherwise probably the healthcare facilities would be the first which would have
Mm.
actually incorporated, and they're looking at the number of healthcare workers despite PP still getting infected. You can well imagine that those things unfortunately are not working. So
Okay.
I don't know. The last word hasn't been said on these, but I think we'll go back to those same things: having good hygiene, having
Mm.
just following the basic advice, using masks. I think probably that's going to be the way we will be decreasing the risk. I don't think it is going to be a zero risk ever now
Mm.
for next few months, but I
Mm.
think that will be the only way we will have to start getting our lives back and start living with it.
All right, Bharat, thank you so much for speaking with us at News Mobile and
Pleasure.
sharing with us your knowledge and your words of advice on how we can stay safe from the coronavirus, even if it may be spread through the airborne mode. Thank you so much for speaking with us.